Hi, welcome to my garage. This is what I'm doing in lockdown. There's my engine bay. I'm about to do an engine swap, but the purpose of this video, excuse me while my nose dribbles, is a question. What's one of the most scary things for an Alpine owner? And that could be stripping a thread in your cylinder head, and that's what I'm going to be doing and fixing, hopefully, in this video. Let's find out. Right, so here we have 1600cc engine. I've got a complete new engine ready to go in, but what I don't want to do every time is keep removing the studs from one block to another. So what I'm going to do this time is fully prepare the second engine such that I never have to swap studs to fit the water pump, the thermostat housing, or the exhaust manifold. Here we got the new engine already painted up and slowly acquiring all the studs and things that I need, but I do have one small problem, and if we look down here, and that is this stud has only got thread on about half the depth of the only got about half the threads covered. So although it does go in and tighten, that's really only on the final 3 turns. So I'm going to drill this out and put a helicoil in. Right, what I've got here off eBay is a helicoil kit, 5/16 UNC, so that is the wider thread for the studs into the aluminium. It cost me about £10, and I think looks like there's about 20 inserts, and that looks quite a good deal. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill out that drill out the head where that stud goes into the next size up with the drill that is supplied. Then we're going to tap it with the provided tap, and then we're going to insert one of the helicoil threads. So let's see how that goes. So I've unpacked the kit. It comes with some written instructions, but I strongly advise you go on YouTube and actually see what other people have done. Basically, we need to drill out the thread hole, and I've marked the drill with a bit of tape so that I know how far I can go safely. Then we're going to tap the new thread, and I've got a nice spare drill chuck that I'm going to use to hold the tap. You've got to hold it straight. When that is done, we're going to insert the new thread, the coil thread, with this sort of L-shaped tool. Don't know what the Allen key is for. The good thing is this should last me about 19 more strip threads, so let's get working and start drilling that hole. Right, so here goes. We have to get the drill nicely lined up. We don't want to go in too fast. Haven't got the drill tightened up enough. Let's have another go. Give it enough power to Excellent, so we've had a nice drill. I don't have to worry too much about cleaning out the mess because I'm not, the engine is sealed and the shards are just falling straight down on the floor. Next thing is that we're going to start tapping this new hole, so we're going to get it started. So we're going to do half a turn and then half a turn back between the threads. It feels really nice, except this has come loose, so I'm going to try a different system, maybe do that with a little spanner. So this is a 4BA spanner. You need to keep the tap from the side because I'm left-handed. That wasn't good. Feels better. I think I read that you need to lubricate that, so give it a dose of WD-40. Let's carry on. So we do one turn and then back. This feels really good so far. So this has gone in surprisingly well. I've now reached the point where the tap has gone tight, so I think I've hit the bottom of the thread hole. But the good news is it went in all the way, and you can see how the shards of metal, and that's going in by hand. Feels really good, maybe just a bit wobbly on the very first thread, but that's how long it took me to get the tap stabilized. We need to
clean this out and then put the coil in. So what I'm going to do here is a little bit of oil on this paper tissue. Clean this thread out. And we've got a few bits of dirt on the tissue, but pretty much we've got a really nice clean thread in that hole. So let's move to the next stage and put the helicoil in. To do that, we use this special tool with a gap in the nose. We put the tang of the helicoil into that gap, and now we insert it in. Now it's a bit tight to do it by hand, but the fact that we are sort of dragging this spring into the hole loosens it up sufficiently for us to get the thing, and then we're going to do that just one thread below the surface. So I've put that in far enough, and now we need to try and get this so that's a bit unexpected. I thought it would come out a lot easier, and I found out why I need the Allen key. It's to change the position of this collet. So I think maybe I have to tap the end of this to break the tang. So let's see if that's right. Let's have a pause. Right, so we had a little bit of a pause. One of the unexpected things for me was I couldn't pull this. I couldn't pull the insertion tool out, and so while I paused the video, I cheated a little bit and put a hefty pair of pliers on, and in the end it came out. So the next part of the instructions are to put in the tool that rests on that tang. So let me just get one of the... Oh, didn't expect the engine to move. So you rest it on the tang that sits across the end of the helicoil, and then with a sharp bash you knock it off. Now if this was, because this is a blind thread, I'm actually not too bothered about doing that, as long as the stud can go in as far as I want it. So next, so what we're doing now is let's put this thread in by hand, and oh, that feels absolutely brilliant. So I'm super pleased with the way that has come out. I haven't got it inserted as far as I want yet, but I'm going to drive it in with the good old method of double nuts. So I'll just go and find another 1/2 inch spanner. Right, 1/2 inch spanner. So we tighten the outside one, and now we can wind that up into the thread. I have to say this feels absolutely fantastic. Before, that stud was very loose and wobbly, and it only started to grab in the last few turns, whereas now I've got it all the way into the hole. That is going to put all the torque I need to hold the manifold. We just need to crack these off again, and there we have the finished stud. That's the brass nut that I intend to put on it. I'll have a dry fit later on before I even bother to put the engine in. It could be that the stud is maybe 1 turn shallower than previously, but I'll pack that with a washer. And so votes for using a helicoil to put a stud into a strip thread in aluminium head on the Alpine, 10 out of 10. Very pleased with that. The last stage, a dry fit. The new brass studs new brass bolts go on beautifully. Remember, I'll have a manifold gasket there, so I've got even more play. I won't need any packing washers, and job done. Something I was really frightened of doing, because I've got 500 pounds in this cylinder head and I didn't want to write it off. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.